We are Project Freedom, and we are broadcasting live from Belleville, Ontario, Canada, on the shores of Lake Ontario at the mouth of the St. Lawrence. And we have John Ventre from Pennsylvania Mufon, and we had a bunch of questions to ask John. The last time you were on, we did a lot about 2012, and you promised you would come back and we would do some stuff on UFOs. But let's do a real quick recap on your opinion of 2012 and the events that may or may not occur.
Well, you know, there's like 20 different prophecies regarding 2012, and they range from the Mayan prophecy, which basically says nothing is going to happen, even though all the TV shows have jumped on the Mayan prophecy bandwagon. But the Mayans believed that life was cyclical, almost like reincarnation, not a straight line, and that we are ending the fourth cycle. And on 12/21/2012, coincidentally, starts the age of Aquarius, which is the fifth cycle of life. Now, they don't say what happens with these cycles. I mean, something could happen. You almost kind of wonder if you're not on almost a kind of a Earth where some sort of natural disaster happens, because there's been plenty of those. The last time this cycle took place, 25,800 years ago, you're pretty much in the Ice Age, right. The start of the Ice Age. So, there's so many different prophecies out there. But the thing is, you look at some of the older ones and the Hopis and Hopi Indians, China with I Ching, they all predict some sort of a destruction. The Hopi spoke about 3 cleansings that took place, by fire or by water. They're referring to the Great Flood, and so you got that. But then you also got, like the New Age people who say that this is an evolutionary change that takes place, every 26,000 years. We only use 3% of our DNA and 10% of our brain capacity, and we're going to go into the next stage of evolution, which is real interesting. People are going to get smarter and have telepathy and all of that. So who knows what's going to happen? I wish I could say that things are getting better. The stock market's going up, and housing's fine, and everybody's employed, and you can't find enough workers. But that's not what's happening, and you really, you're seeing more earth changes, like earthquakes and serious flooding, and Barrow, Alaska is iced in right now. So I wish I could say things were moving forward, but here is up with. I just saw yesterday, as a matter of fact, as to why nothing will probably happen in 2012 at the end of the year. You want to know why that is?
I'd love to.
I just realized that in the movie Back to the Future, Marty McFly went 2015. So obviously nothing can happen.
Well, hey, you got to believe Michael J. Fox. I mean, that's really.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah. I thought of anything, it would be like a conscious evolution. We would come to a state where I think people who are sensitive would become much more sensitive. People who aren't sensitive, well, sucks to be them. You know what I mean, John?
Yeah, and I know. Now, you know what? I think, like you just said, it's not going to be everybody. I think it's only certain people, like the people that are open to paranormal activity. Not everybody sees ghosts and hears things, but some people do. So, I think some people, almost like the book series Left Behind, they'll still be here, but they're not going to be, as gifted as other people.
Right. Yeah, I was looking at a lot of the different predictions, and I just kept shaking my head, saying no. All you have to do is be an observer. Take a look around the planet, see what's happening. I know we're going into a state of revolution on the planet. People are getting really ticked off with the governments and the just different way things are run on the planet. They know that they're slaves, and they're being tired of being slaves, and there could be a bit of an escalation, but I don't think it's going to be, a one-time December 21st, 11:50 m or 11:59 p.m. sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I was looking at some different things. The Julian calendar, which used to be used, is now 13-day difference than what we currently use with the Gregorian calendar. Mm-hmm. And, when we went to the Gregorian calendar, we changed New Year's from April 1st to January 1st. So I'm not 100% sure how accurate, the calendar is right now, if it's not even off. It could be off by a couple of years, but so you don't really know. Just if you get to December 22nd, it doesn't mean you're okay. I'm actually supposed to speak in Mexico at Chichen Itza from to the 22nd, and I was glad that they got me a plane on the 22nd, so at least they're positive that we'll be there.
John, you should know better. You should be at high ground at that day, right?
Well, at that morning when the sun rises and we're in the center plane of the Milky Way galaxy, CNN and all the news stations are going to be there at the temple, and you're going to probably see me running up those stairs as fast as I can because there's a tsunami coming.
Here we go. Is there any way you can borrow a boat for somebody and get it halfway up a mountain?
I don't know. I might have to you'll see me there in 85-degree weather with a life jacket on.
Yeah, for sure. I'm amazed at the amount of people that really think something, absolutely horrible is going to happen. And, they get locked into the scenarios of the movies and stuff like that, Yeah,
but I tell you what a lot of people have said to me is they just got this gut feeling. They just feel this negative, they just, and these are people that aren't even into this field, Mm-hmm. Like one of the guys at work said to me, his father said to him, I just got a bad feeling something's going to happen later in the year. I just feel it in my bones. It's almost like it's in our genes that we can sense something bad's coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said before, John, there was we did a show on May 21st on May 22nd about the prediction of Harold Camping's End of the World, May 21st, and I basically took him on and asked him if he had the guts to come on over and talk to me, and I know that we went through the family radio thing and they heard what I was saying, but they wouldn't come over. I wanted him to explain what he had done to the people. Now, I'm not going to go into that. What I want to make my point is that there was a lot of people committing suicide, leaving their jobs, leaving their wives, hiding in bunkers. Pre that, they were putting up massive billboards, end of the world, and that was just one little man from one little church. Now, what's going to happen at the end of this year with the Mayan prophecies, the Hopi, the Webbot, the Nostradamus, all the different prophecies? Is there going to be groups like that who cause a lot of problem and just disrupt on our planet?
Well, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you look at Y2K and you look at this 2012 prophecy and you look at all of those other groups, that with their different prophecies, there is nothing that has as much prophecy as 2012.
That's right.
Like I said, Edgar Casey, Gene Dixon, different cultures, even the Webbot, the Bible Code, you name it, and we didn't name it on your show. There's I only went over, I think, 19 or 20 of them, but there's even more that I come across, and even in books, this is stuff that was written years ago, talking about how the economy, the housing market, how unemployment's going to rise right before this. There'll be an increase in earthquake activity, changes in heat and cold periods. It's actually kind of scary how a lot of the stuff that was written, it's actually come true.
Yeah, well, Skywalker says that science shows that every 3,500 years something happens. Like it's in the soil, it's in the glaciers where they found that every 3,500 years something happens. So, we're due for something too.
Well, that 3,500 that you're talking about is 3,600 is the 12th planet and the Bureau, Sitchin type theory,
Right.
that comes around every 3,600 years. There's like 20 different prophecies regarding 2012, and they range from the Mayan prophecy, which basically says nothing is going to happen, even though.
And you promised you would come back and we would do some stuff on UFOs. But let's do a real quick recap on your opinion of 2012 and the events that may or may not occur.
Well,
we are Project Freedom, and we are broadcasting live from Belleville, Ontario, Canada, on the shores of Lake Ontario at the mouth of the St. Lawrence. And we have John Ventre from Pennsylvania Mufon, and we had a bunch of questions to ask John. The last time you were on, we did a lot about 2012.
all the TV shows have jumped on the Mayan prophecy bandwagon, but the Mayans believed that life was cyclical, almost like reincarnation, not a straight line, and that we are